Hello and welcome to what is hopefully our last FID day of the year. I thought I would never say that. I look forward to July just as much as you look forward to turning 21. It is currently -6. Today we're going to go over our chapter review, and then Monday hopefully we'll be in class then, and Tuesday will be our exam. Let's get started. This question is testing the idea of value added and why we do not double count when calculating GDP. At each stage of production, we only count the new value that is created. When trees are sold, that entire $800 is value added because nothing came before it. When lumber is sold for $2,000, only $1,200 is new value because $800 was already counted. The same logic applies to the furniture and retail stages. GDP equals either the final sale to consumers or the sum of all value added, but never both. That's why GDP ends up being $9,000, not $16,800. If the lumber were imported from Canada, GDP would not change because GDP only measures production inside the United States. Imports subtract out automatically. Nominal GDP rises by 2%, but prices rise by 3%. That tells us right away that real GDP must fall because prices are rising faster than output. Nominal GDP increases to $1.2 trillion. The price level increases to 103. When we adjust for inflation, real GDP falls to about $990 billion. Higher nominal GDP does not always mean a stronger economy. Inflation can hide declining real output. This question uses historical data to show just how severe the Great Depression was. Real per capita GDP in 1933, measured in 2013 dollars, was roughly $7,400. What matters is not the exact dollar amount, but what it represents. The average American was dramatically poorer than today, even after adjusting for inflation. This is why economists emphasize real and per capita measures when comparing living standards across time. If prices double overnight, real GDP does not change because real GDP measures quantities of output, not prices. Nominal GDP, however, doubles because it is calculated using current prices. Real GDP is the better measure of economic performance, while nominal GDP can be misleading during inflation. This question walks through the three major aggregates you must know. First, GDP is calculated using the expenditure approach: consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net exports. Plugging in the numbers gives us GDP of $300 billion. Next, net investment is gross investment minus depreciation, which equals $10 billion. This tells us how much the capital stock is actually growing. Finally, national income adjusts GDP by subtracting depreciation and adding net foreign factor income. That gives us national income of $290 billion. This slide reinforces how these measures are connected but not identical. Here we switch from spending to income distribution. Wages and salaries make up about 53% of total income, which shows that labor is the largest source of income in the United States economy. Corporate profits account for about 10%. This is important because many of you overestimate how much of total income goes to corporations. The takeaway is that most income in the economy goes to workers, not firms, and I stressed that earlier this year when I told you how much profit should be in a given year. This slide compares economic growth from 2000 to 2019. When we convert nominal GDP into real GDP using the price index, we find that real GDP in 2019 was about $19.1 trillion in $2,000. Real GDP increased by about $6.5 trillion over this period, while nominal GDP increased by $11.6 trillion. The difference highlights the role of inflation and reinforces why economists rely on real GDP when measuring long-term growth. Here we're breaking GDP into its components. Personal consumption expenditures make up about 68% of GDP, showing that consumer spending is the engine of the United States economy. Investment and government spending each account for about 17.5%. exports are roughly 12%, while imports are about 15% of GDP. Even though imports are subtracted in GDP calculations, they still represent a significant share of economic activity. Visualize where GDP actually comes from, and you should understand this concept. And that, folks, is a review for our Chapter 5 National Income Accounting. What I need you to do right now is to hit that thumbs up, give this video a like, because it ties directly into your account, and it will also show me who's watching these videos. The problem I'm having right now is a lot of you aren't watching the videos, and you are sliding through the videos because it shows me during my analytics in YouTube. So I need you to do that for me. There are no hidden concepts today. There's nothing exciting. You do have a bell ringer. Go answer your bell ringer right now. That's a wrap. Have a good weekend, and I hope to see you on Monday.